Devin Haney vs. Brian Norman Jr. going down as the co-main event to David Benavidez vs. Anthony Yarde on November 22nd in Saudi Arabia. This fight's gonna answer a lot of questions, specifically how Devin Haney comes back from adversity. Because in his last fight, we didn't really see much against an opponent who I think a lot of people would agree was a shell of his former self. I expected Ramirez to bring the fight to Haney, to be aggressive, throw the combinations, land some power shots, just to see how Haney would respond to it coming off the Ryan fight, and he kind of just let Haney scurry his way to a decision just like he did with Barboza. But I think Team Haney kind of anticipated that. I think if you look through Ramirez's last couple fights, you could see a lot more holes in his game than there were 5 years ago. Not as aggressive, not as threatening, but a good enough opponent to prepare Haney for what would have been the eventual Ryan rematch that was already agreed to until Ryan lost to Rolly. And when looking at Brian Norman and what he presents, he also has a lot of the components that Ryan has. Aggressive, hard hitter, known for having a dominant left hand. It's almost like Haney wants to take these type of fights where he has to rely on his defense and be picture perfect for all 12 rounds. And what separates Brian Norman from all of his past opponents? Gamboa, Linares, Lomachenko, Prograis. There's a complete contrast because most of these guys had already done their time in the sport. They were already on their way out. They were in their mid to late 30s, Haney in his early 20s, as well as him having a significant size advantage over them on fight night, rehydrating from 135 to 160, 140 to 170, yet still struggled to put a lot of these guys away, even with having all these advantages. And it wasn't until someone was able to match him, like Ryan Garcia, to where he would end up essentially getting exposed, where he had no advantages other than, I guess you could say, skill. But Brian Norman will be just that. This will be Haney's first fight at welterweight 147, a division where Norman has been very active in. 28 wins, 22 knockouts, no losses, just got what could possibly be knockout of the year. There's no question Haney definitely has a lot more chips on his shoulder, as it is considering the state of his career. Again, the Ryan Garcia fight was only a year ago. He only had one fight since, and he didn't look so good. And honestly, I believe how he fought against Ramirez, that is the guy we're stuck with. I think what Bill Haney meant at the press conferences to the media and interviews that we're gonna witness the next new and improved Devin Haney, I think that's exactly who he was talking about. And you know it because after the fight in interviews, he called it a flawless performance. He said it's exactly what they prepared for, and I really don't see him going about this Norman fight any other way. He can't engage with him. He can't risk pushing him back. So yeah, I think Norman is going to be a very serious problem for Haney. And just to recap all that we've talked about, this will be Haney's first fight at 147, a division that Norman has spent most of his career fighting in. Norman is as young as Haney's, 24 years old. I believe Haney's around 26. In comparison to a lot of Haney's other opponents like Lomachenko, Linares, Prograis, mid to late 30s, pretty much on the way out, so Norman is going to be live in there. He's going to be active. And besides age, it's more so just the fact that Norman is on the come up. He's 24, young, still has something to prove, whereas a lot of the other guys had already pretty much achieved all that they had set out to become. And you can make an argument that Haney is that for Norman. Haney's already become a two-time world champ. He's held the belts. Now the problem is Haney has suffered defeat, and regardless of it getting overturned to a no contest, he has still suffered that and still recovering from it. Norman has yet to lose, therefore he doesn't know how to lose. He hasn't experienced it. And with the Ryan fight going the way it did, it's going to be very hard for Haney to get any sort of mental edge over his opponents. Because people for the longest time have questioned his power, but they never questioned his durability. What could Haney really do to intimidate a guy like Norman, who's far bigger than him, packs a deadly punch? It's gonna be very tough. So a lot of questions to be answered. We got 3 months to find out. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe, like, and comment. Give me your thoughts down below. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Peace.